What is up, guys? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys a Weiss Schwarz deck profile. This will be the first in 2019. Hope you guys had a happy New Year's, and you guys are starting your New Year's resolution. I know I am. So, previously I did, for my first Weiss Schwarz deck profile, the Gold Bar Standby Sword Art Online deck profile, but when I watched it again prior to the year ending, I noticed a tad bit late now that it got cut off at the 2-step and went straight to the 3-step, which was annoying. But I can't fix that already because it's already too late. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna redo that deck profile later on. But it's gonna be an update on that Gold Bar Standby build because I am gonna be revisiting that concept later. But for this one, I decided, why not showcase the style deck that I've been playing the most and have been seeing the most success with, and that is my Yuuki Sinon build. This build is a lot different from the standby build because this one actually has a climax combo finish, that being last shot Sinon. And if you don't know what she does is when this is in play, you may pay 2, discard 1 burn, and you'll see that last shot Sinon. I managed to pick it up earlier this year. I was like scrambling on trying to build this deck for regionals. I didn't do well at this year's regionals, and it was due to bullshit, and I don't want to talk about that in this video. I'll talk about it later. But let's get on to the deck profile. So starting off with the zeros, I'm playing 4 copies of the Temporary Alliance Kirito. You remember the effect from the previous video. Don't need to explain that. It's a mill runner. The previous build I was playing 3 copies of the Time to Get Serious, but now I upped it to 4. And that is because the effect to move something into the back row and rest it and move it to the back row is really nice because you can revive characters that got reversed during battle, and also that you can save certain characters from being reversed during your opponent's turn, which is really nice. Especially when you play the early plays, since this can save them too. Especially the early play Yuna, which is an early play heal, but it has the ability on attack give plus 500 times the total number of other characters other than Yuna. So you basically would not full board this, but play 4 characters onto the board. The new ones being these 2. So this would be a 3/5, and when you attack with the Yuna, this becomes a 5k. And then when you reverse, you pull the Yuna to the back row. So you basically essentially not only pay back the stock with just the Yuna and Kirito attacking, but you +1 from the 3rd attack. And since you saved the Yuna from being potentially reversed the next turn, or if it was reversed during this turn, you save it and you can use it again. So it's a 3/2 that can be used again for attack, which is really nice. And you can even save other cards like your Brainstormer and this card, 3 copies of Comforting Moments Asuna, which has the ability on play, so you may select 2 characters, shuffle them, and it gains +1 soul. And when this gets reversed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's level 1 or higher, put this card into stock, and Climax counts as level 0, sadly. But what you can do is use the Kirito to preserve this so you can use the on-reverse effect again in the future, which will have a higher chance of hitting a level 1 or higher card. And then finish up the 0-step. We're playing 3 copies of the Sugu Lifa Amagi. If you guys don't know what the Amagi effect is, it's basically when you play Climax, pay 1, top 4 check, add a net or avatar character in this context. But for other decks, you'll just add the most common trait back to your hand, which is really nice. It also has the auto ability. When you play an activated ability, select 1 character and give it plus 1,000, which is really nice because backups are considered act abilities. For the Brainstormer, I decided to opt from the Search Brainstormer to the Kirito Brainstormer, which is pay 1, tap 2 cards, which one of them can be this, and excavate the top 4 cards. If one of them is a Climax, draw 2, discard 1, and if you have multiples, you do the same thing 1 at a time, draw 2, discard 1. So the reason why I played this is because I needed something that can deck filter while at the same time hand fix, because the problem with the gold bar or even the book is you could potentially, with the gold bar, you just get this back to your hand in blind stock, which is fine, but if you have multiples of these, you have no way of discarding it other than the Zekken Yuuki effect, which is already annoying because if you have multiples, you have to, and if you have no other discard outlet, you have to commit multiple Yukis, which will lower the amount of net stock that you gain to 0, because you always want to +2 your stock every turn, which is the ideal state. Ideal state in every turn is you want to +2 your stock count. So what happened is I needed to find a way to have consistent discard outlets. So when my friend recommended me that I play this Brainstormer, I decided, you know what, I'll try it out. And it's been working really nice because not only do I get to thin my deck out like the search one, but I got to filter my hand, fix it up, and keep my stock clean at the same time, which is really nice. But it also has the same auto ability as the Lethal, which is when you play an active ability, select a character and give it 500, which is really nice because if you have both on the board, it's +15. And then for the last 0, we play 1 copy of the Kendo Boot Camp Suguha, which has the demerit all your other characters can't side attack, but when it comes into play, pay 1, discard 1, search. And then for the 1 step, we already know and we love her, 4 copies of Zekken Yuuki, which has the climax combo with the Mother's Rosario. On attack, pay 1, discard 1, search 2 net or up to 2 net or avatar characters and add them to your hand. It also has the on-play ability +500 times the total number of net and avatar characters on board. For this build, since we're playing blue and not red, I'm playing 4 copies of Determination with Life on the Line Kirito. This one is really busted because this is a deck filter on death as well as a hand fixer, because when it goes into waiting room, you get the top 3 check and select a net or avatar among the 3, add it to your hand, send the rest to waiting room, and discard a card from your hand. So this allows you to hand fix while digging deeper into your deck. And you usually use this as your main attacker other than the Zekken Yuuki at the 1 step. And you play this consistently throughout the game because it allows you to crash and deck thin, which is really nice. It also has the on-play ability. If you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a net or avatar, this gains +2000, which is, it becomes a 6/5 beat stick, which is nice. And then we play 2 copies of the SAO Survivor, which is during your opponent's turn, it becomes a generic global 1k to all the characters on the board, which is nice. But you play it for the hand filter because you get to top check 2, add 1 card among the 2, and then send the rest to a waiting room and discard a card. So you can even add climaxes, which is really nice about this card. Then I also play 2 copies of the 2K backup Asuna. And then for the 2-step, I'm only playing 1 card, and that is Adventure with Everyone Sinon. It has the on-play ability, pay 1, discard a climax, salvage a climax. So this hand fixes your climax to help you set up your finisher. And it also has the ability, when it attacks a level 3 or higher, it gains +1000 times the total number of net and avatar characters on board. So you can play this at level 3, and it still has the effect, which is nice. For the 3 steps, we play 1 copy of Full of Vigor Yui. This is basically a stock troll. You discard 2, your opponent sends all the cards in their stock to waiting room and replaces it by sending cards from the top of their deck until they match the number. And if you do this upon refresh, you not only have the potential of hitting a climax, the remaining climaxes in the deck, but they also take the penalty 1 damage, which makes this essentially a burn 1. And then we play 2 copies of the early play Yuna, which is an early play heal and attack buffer. Then we play 2 copies of the Asuna's Commanding Strength, which has the on-play heal and the the ability on attack, pay 1, discard 1, give all characters +1 soul. This is part of your finisher, and I'll explain it later. The second part of your finishing combo is 2 copies of Link Strike Sinon. This is a potential part 2. You can even play 2 copies of the Last Shot if you wanted to, but this is the secondary part of the finisher. And you basically know what she does. When center slot attacks, pay 1, discard 2, mill 3. If one of them is a climax, restand this. It also has the on-play ability, draw 1, discard gets +1,000. I'm not 1,000, +2,000. And it's also an early play, which you can sometimes do. I don't normally do that one. I usually early play Yuna. And then for the last card, we play 4 copies of Last Shot Sinon, which has the on-play ability, heal, and when Phantom Bullet's in play on attack, you may pay 2, discard 1, burn 4, which is really nice. And if your opponent cancels it, this gains +3, 5, which is it. Since you're burning 4, you have a high chance of canceling, but you mainly use this for the finish combo, which I'll explain in a bit. But it also has the when this card gets reversed, put into memory, which is the drawback of this card. But essentially, this becomes a 14-5 if you cancel it and you decide to front with it, which will reverse virtually anything on the board, unless they're like a 15k plus level 3, which is not that common. So the finishing combo I'll explain quickly involves these cards. And this. So what happens is you would have to have the Asuna the commanding strength Asuna at least at mandatory 1 Last Shot Sinon, and optionally either the Link Strike Sinon or another copy of Last Shot Sinon. So what you would do and this depends on the situation, the attack order. So let's say you have the Link Strike Sinon on board, and you have the climax out. What you would do normally, in the normal finish way, is you would attack with the Asuna, pay 1, discard 1, pay 1, discard 1, siding for 1, because it gives +501 soul to all characters, including this one. So this is going to be dealing 4 damage. And normally you're going to side, in most instances when you play this effect, is because you want to make sure it sticks, that damage. And depending on the level of that character, normally you're going to be doing this in front of a level 3, so you're siding for 1. If it's a level 2, you're siding for 2. Level 3, siding for 3. I mean, not level 3. Level 1, you're siding for 3. So you're normally going to side with the Asuna, so it's going to, let's say the damage sticks, you're siding for 1. And then in this situation, you only would attack with Asuna first if you have this board. You would swing with one of the Link Strikes first. Not Link Strikes, Last Shots. You pay 2, discard 1, burn 4, side for 1. So that's, let's say one of the burn 4 stick, and the side for 1 stick. So it's total of 6 damage on board. And if your opponent's close to refresh, you could side for 1 or front for 1, depending on the number of climaxes out in your opponent's deck. If they still have a climax or 2 and they have a decent deck size, you will just side for 1 and then burn 4, and you use the burn 4 to bait the climax, and then you use the side for 1 to be the lethal damage. And usually smaller damage damage amounts at the 3-step will stick, depending on the size of your opponent's deck. However, let's say we're doing the other variation, which is this one. What I normally would do is, before I even think about attacking with the Asuna, I front with the Sinon, and if it had the on-play ability of gaining +2k on the draw, it becomes a 12k, so you're going to reverse whatever you front if your opponent doesn't back it up. So you're going to reverse fronting for 3. And if the 3 sticks, you have a higher chance of winning this game because of that, if they're at level 3. So let's say the 3 sticks on here. I would then side for 1. Actually, not even 3. Let me go back to this one again. I forgot to mention this. Let's say the character I'm fronting is a level 1. Or even a level 2. We'll say for an ideal situation I'm fronting it on a level 2. When I swing with this and do the +1 soul, this is going to be fronting for 4. So what's going to happen is when you restand it, you're siding for 2, which will have a high chance of sticking if the 3 stuck. So you essentially have 4 instances of damage, and those damages are going to be precise damage, precision hits, so to say. So what happens is, in some of my matches, is that what happens is if my opponent full boards level 3s, when I front with the Sinon, I often reveal a soul trigger. So what happens is I'll be fronting for 4, and let's say that 4 hits. Not even 4. I front for, for 4. And that 4 hits. I side with the Asuna for 1 after I pay out the effect. For the effect. When I attack with the Sinon and I happen to restand the Link Strike Sinon, if the last shot misses on the burn 4 but sticks on the side for 1, so that's 6 damage on board, I can side for 1 or 2 depending on if I drive checked a soul trigger. And if I side for 2 and that sticks, that's game. That's a potent finish right there. And I know I was kind of, I didn't make sense, but when you see the match videos that I'll be posting with this deck, you'll notice how I sort out my attack order. It usually depends on the board state, but this is usually the ideal board state, as I'll have 4 instances of damage from these 2. So I'll have 5 instances of damage, and most of them will be precision hits, which will guarantee me a finish. And I've actually won most of my matches with this board setup upon deck testing. So overall, I like this deck. It has a high amount of success in personal play testing, and I hope to do more variations of this deck in the near future. But this is Platinum Point. I hope you guys enjoy this deck profile. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And for the next Weiss Schwarz deck profile that I'll be doing, give me a sec as I stand up and grab it. It will be on my No Game, No Life deck. I'll be profiling that soon. So this is Platinum Point signing out. Stay on point, guys.